What's up, smarty people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Smarter? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Hey, also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, interesting facts. Today's fact is the U.S. actually voted for its independence on July 2nd. That's right. On July 3rd, 1776, John Adams wrote to his wife Abigail of how the second day of July 1776 will be the most memorable epoch in history in the history of America. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shoes, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other from this time forward forevermore. It seems the founding father felt pretty strongly that July 2nd would be recognized as the landmark date of this young nation's founding. So why do Americans celebrate Independence Day 2 days later? Let's back up to June of 1776, when the Second Continental Congress selected a committee of 5: Adams, Roger Sherman, Robert Livingston, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson, to draft a statement of independence that severed the colonies from British rule. When the Jefferson-penned draft was presented to Congress, only 9 of the 13 colonies favored independence. However, the delegation largely fell into line from that point, and on July 2nd, Congress formally approved the resolution that proclaimed the United States of America as an independent country. Following additional edits, the Declaration of Independence was completed, adopted, and sent for printing on July 4th. And on July 2nd, the rank and file delegates began adding their signatures to an engrossed version of the document. According to historian Pauline Mayer, the idea of commemorating the anniversary of independence did not gain traction in 1777 until it was too late to recognize the date of July 2nd. However, a pair of notable celebrations popped up on July 4th. Fireworks in Boston, a military demonstration, and more pyrotechnics in Philadelphia, setting forth an annual tradition that, as Adams otherwise correctly predicted, came to mark, quote, the most memorable epoch in the history of America. How about that for some facts? Here's a few little extra tidbits. Numbers don't lie. The number of delegates who signed the Declaration of Independence, 56. Grievances cited against the British monarchy in the Declaration, 27. Changes made to Thomas Jefferson's original Declaration draft, including by the Committee of 5, 86. And pounds of fireworks annually detonated on the 4th of July. 285,300,000 pounds of fireworks. How about that? And because you want to fill your brain even more, here's a little bit more for you. Thomas Jefferson drew from similar sources to draft the Declaration of Independence. Faced with a limited time frame to pen the first draft of the Declaration of Independence in June 1776, Jefferson culled ideas from the nearly 100 such documents that had been recently issued throughout the colonies. Among them was the Virginia Declaration of Rights by George Mason, which featured language strikingly similar to the Jeffersonian assertion that all men are created equal and possess the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unhappy with the subsequent congressional edits to his writing, which included the exclusion of a passage that blamed King George III for proliferation of slavery in the colonies, Jefferson nevertheless took pride in his hastily crafted yet resonant words at a tipping point of American history. As he later wrote in a letter, quote, "This was the object of the Declaration of Independence, not to find out new principles or new arguments never before thought of, not merely to say things which had never been said before, but to place before mankind the common sense of the subject in terms so plain and firm as to command their assent, and to justify ourselves in the independent stand we are compelled to take," end quote. That's a little bit about July 2nd. How are you celebrating your independence? This has been What Makes You Smarter. Hey, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.